Hello and welcome back, my friends. It is a brand new morning and the start of the 5 days of Gem Challenge polls for Christmas that Empires and Puzzles has done. And with it, they released a new Covenant portal, and the new Covenant portal comes with a new hero as well in Sizzleomatic. And very interesting. A Sizzleomatic looks like he is going to be all about being a robotic chef of sorts. So will that be interesting? Will this be something we're excited about? Let's take a closer look and see. First of all, we're going to be the wizard class, which of course has that chance to do extra damage when casting specials. A reminder of what we get for the family bonus for constructs, it is going to be the construct core. Now there are different construct cores, so we'll get into what that means down here. In the passes department, we get empowered resist special skill blocking. This character is immune to status ailments that prevent the use of special skills. They also gain 450 boosted health and 5% mana each time they resist. So pretty cool. I like the gaining boosted health and mana for each attempt. And things that this stops are things like silence or paralyze, things like that this character will be immune to because they prevent you from using your special. Mindless is not the same. Mindless replaces a special. It still lets you use the special, however, so it won't give you protection against that. Okay, down here we get Minion Core as the second passive. The Minion Core says, with a fully charged Minion Core, summon a killer bot minion with 27% health and 55% attack inherited from the caster on all allies. The HP and attack inherited from the caster scale with the amount of charge on the core. All charge is exhausted when the core is activated, and before the killer bot minion hits a target, it destroys all minions from the target and damages mega minions. So it creates a minion shield for your team. These minion shields are also good at removing other minions before they attack. It's interesting. It's not overpowerful, but it's fine. Then over here in the Aether department, we get Regen. Probably one of the more boring Aether powers. It just provides a very small amount of health. I think it's something like 50 or 60 health each turn. It's not very exciting. Okay, down here in Specials Department, we get Burning Walk. Operating at slow speed, it is going to deal 475% damage to all enemies, deals an additional 20% damage per fire shield on the board, up to a maximum of 635% damage in total. All allies get plus 50% attack for 5 turns. All allies reflect status ailments and negative stacks for 5 turns. Okay. So a bunch to get into there. Let's go ahead and talk about what this guy's all about, the good and the bad, etc. All right, first things first, this guy is operating at slow speed. That's very important to point out. Slow speed specials need to be of severe significance, or else they have a tendency to kind of fall to the wayside of faster heroes. So we really need this special to be of significance for it to work at slow speed. First thing we get is 475% damage to all enemies. That's a reasonable hit for sure. At 1901 attack, that's going to cause quite a bit of damage. It also is empowered by additional fire shields on the board. Now, this is what I'll say about that. Usually a lot of times, especially at slow, you've been kind of searching the battlefield to get the matches necessary to pull off this special. So it's not likely we're going to see a significant amount of extra fire shields on the board. That's not to say there won't be some like single ones that were isolated that you couldn't get to, but at most I'm guessing you have 3 or 4 additional fire shields on the board, which will add some damage to this, but I'm not expecting it to be a significantly large amount of additional. So maybe you add another 80 to 100% damage to this special, but understand that that's not going to do twice the damage. That's going to just add to the percent damage done. So instead of doing like 475, you'll be doing like 555 to 575% damage to all. Still a significant thing to consider, but it's not going to be game changing. Let's put it that way. Okay, and then also all allies get plus 50% attack for 5 turns. This is a nice group attack buff, but most likely you can get a similar attack buff from a faster hero, so I'm not necessarily going to say that that's like overwhelmingly powerful. It's just nice to have. And then last but not least, all allies are going to reflect status ailments and negative stacks for 5 turns. Again, this is very powerful. Reflect is great. You can really change the dynamic of a battlefield with Reflect, but that being said, I don't know if it's enough, because the reality is it's dispellable and people will know this is coming, right? If they're a good player, they're going to know this is a slow hero, and when he goes off, he's going to give the whole team Reflect. They can save a dispel to sort of wipe that off, and I don't know if that's going to be as significant because of that. So I'm not overly impressed by the entire specials package here. We'll use Bo Bu Sang, who came out yesterday, as an example of a slow character that's created with the right kind of specials package. Why is it more significant? Well, it's around the same hit, that 470 mark to all at slow, but the effects that Bobo Sang put out were both undispellable effects, so even though they were slow to get out on the field, they couldn't just be cleansed off. So with that in mind, it's a lot more significant. Also, they gave the Aether power of ailment immunity to Bobosang, which made it impossible for you to stop her effects for the first 6 turns. This guy gets a lousy regen. And I'm not trying to be mean, but regen is just not significant when it comes to Aether powers. And that's where this guy's going to try to topple down the excitement ladder. So we have to give this guy a grade. I'm going to go ahead and say that given that the minion core is not overpowerful, the rest of the effects have an effect, but not that great. I mean, he's probably still an 8, like an 8 out of 10. I don't want to say he's as low as a 7, because the reality is he does do a very strong hit. He does buff your team. He does give reflect. And in Rush Wars, he's going to be a headache, giving all of these effects out at fast speed. But for the rest of the time, I think he's a very manageable and controllable character who is a problem, but not a problem that can't be dealt with. So we'll give him an 8 out of 10. Honestly, though, congrats if you do pull him. He is still going to be a significant character to add to your roster. He's just not going to be a game changer or even a meta character, in my personal opinion. So, yeah. Congrats to everyone. If you do pull him, thanks for joining in again. And if you do like what I do, right at the bottom right, there's a button. You just click that. You can find me easier in the future. And we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.